Hey, what's going on guys, Oink here. Today's video, I'm going to be addressing something which is getting rather hard to put aside and ignore. This is a topic which has been pretty much the only thing being talked about right now in the GT community, which is the whole kind of deal around Polifany Digital not being entirely clear with what they're doing in terms of updates, what kind of new content is coming, you know, when are they going to be fixing things, when a bug's going to get ironed out, and of course there was a whole list of content that was released alongside the game. You know, they said that there's these various features, you know, course maker and community features and things like that, that they're going to come out at some point, and those things still haven't really been talked about at all, so there's that also on the table. So I'm pretty much gonna talk about, you know, my opinions on these things, and yeah, I guess just, you know, what I think of the whole matter. I've seen some people getting really upset about it, and I think like to go that far is a bit extreme. I think on the whole it would be good if they would actually obviously fix the bugs as a priority. But at the end of the day, like, they were reasonably clear when the game came out about what actually was not going to be in the game on release. Like, there was a specific list that actually said these features aren't going to be in the game when it comes out. And so you bought the game knowing what and what wasn't going to be in the game. And I think to that extent, some of the things I've seen people saying, like I've been seeing some people say like, oh, the game's a disgrace and, you know, worst Gran Turismo game ever. And like, I think it's like you've really got to kind of take a step back and think about what you're saying when you say that, because at the end of the day, you bought a game with a pretty clear indication of what was going to be included. My personal opinion, if you've watched my review, if you've read or seen my review of GT6, it's my opinion that as a sort of base game, you know, what the bread and butter of the game, the actual driving itself and what's included in that regard is is incredible. Like, I really think it's a solid game, and so in that regard, I really don't think there's any complaints to be had. On the other hand, of course, there are things that need to be addressed. You know, the amount of online bugs now, that, I mean, just this one bug with the tires, like after you pit, like just that one thing is like really getting to the point where it has to be sorted soon. So, you know, there are obvious things like that which, you know, even people who are still supportive of the game in terms of the content that is there, you know, like, as someone who really enjoys the game as it is, I can still say that does definitely need to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed soon, because it's quite a prominent bug and it's really holding back the online. In terms of the other features, I really don't think anyone has a ground to be pissed off that they're not in the game. I think that what does need to happen, though, is there needs to be some kind of information from Polifany Digital. I think that they kind of go like half and half. Like, sometimes they do some great stuff in terms of being forward in the up to release of Gran Turismo 6. There was lots of information, there was lots of videos, you know, information releases on the website, lots of new images, all that kind of stuff, which is great. Post-release, it's kind of been a bit odd. Like, the updates that they have released often have just not had patch notes. Like, literally, people have been like deciphering what actually was updated in the game. Like, you know, it'll just say like minor fixes, and it turns out, you know, some serious problems have been fixed, you know, stuff like that. So I think in that regards, it would have been extremely helpful for more detailed patch notes when they did do patches. But also, it, like, to begin with, and actually at the time of writing the review, I said that they were really good at releasing quick hotfixes and little patches. Like, it wasn't just kind of like a GT5 Spec 2 update sort of thing, you know, where there wasn't much for a while, and then all of a sudden, bam, the game is massively different. All of these new features and changes and fixes all coming in at once. It was kind of like literally every couple of days, a little hot fix, no patch. You just download it when you start the game up, and then there you go. Stuff has been fixed, and that was great early on. And it's kind of flattened out a bit. We haven't really seen any of these little hot fixes for at least several weeks now. I mean, I can't even remember the last one. Maybe the last time there was a new car introduced. I can't remember when that was. So I'd like to see them be a bit more active in terms of that. But I think what the important thing here is obviously to iron out the bugs as soon as possible before necessarily releasing more content. But I think the main thing that needs to happen is we really need to hear something from them in terms of dates for things, what they're planning on doing. We just need something from them. It's almost just like they've gone, you know, off the radar, off everything. Like, we don't even know that they know about the bugs that are in the game. Like, if we could just at least have a confirmation saying we know that this and bugs are in, but we're having problems fixing them. These will, you know, we're working on this to try and get it out as soon as possible. Even if it was something like that, just to hear something, you know, some kind of feedback from the guys at Polifany would be super useful. And if not that, then at least, you know, some kind of ETA on when we might see some new features, or when we, you know, that kind of thing. So one of my subscribers, I think it's Cider, I apologise if that's not said correctly, but he I asked him to send me a couple of questions that he thought might be quite useful for me to talk about, I guess you guys to get my opinions on. One of them was that the potential, not really a dip, but the fact that GT6 quite clearly wasn't as successful in terms of units sold compared to GT5 and maybe previous Gran Turismo titles. I mean, if they didn't see it coming, then I think that was kind of stupid of them, but I'm sure they wouldn't have expected to have gotten a release like GT5. But potentially, like, one of the things he was thinking is perhaps because there were less numbers there, and the fact that PS4 is now out, and obviously we know that they're releasing, you know, they're working on the next gen console thing. They kind of talked about it a little bit before even GT6 had come out. So potentially the fact that, you know, this sort of slightly lower scale sales release in terms of for GT6 could mean that they've shifted a little bit more focus into getting GT7 well on its way. Obviously, because that is, I think, undeniably going to be a massive title for PlayStation 4, and I'm sure Sony will be pushing them to get that out, you know, and on the way. So potentially, because they've been going on to that, maybe they've somewhat slowed down on the GT6 update front, or perhaps going for like a slightly bigger update at a time, more like a GT5 Spec Point 2 sort of thing. Like, you know, instead of doing these little minor fixes, they're going to do a whole bunch of stuff all in one go. We're going to see a whole load of new features introduced all in one big kind of you know, bigger update like that. So that's definitely a possibility. I mean, I'd like to hope that that wasn't true in the sense that they kind of giving up on GT6. I'm sure that that's not the case, because Kaz actually kind of made a statement saying, you know, that they're ready to really support GT6. So whilst I'm sure GT7 is in the works, I would like to hope that GT6 is still at the kind of forefront of their attention in terms of getting things fixed and getting things added into the game that really should be there at some point, of course. So that's kind of one thing. Obviously, I would massively look forward to a PS4 version of Gran Turismo. But, I mean, at this point, I think GT6 has to be the main focus. In terms of the kind of bigger and fewer updates as opposed to smaller updates, to be honest, I don't really mind. I think if they're going to go with a bigger update, they more so need to make some kind of statement about that, because we can't just be left in the dark for 3 months and then all of a sudden, bam, the whole game's been changed. You know, I'd rather see, if that is going to happen, at least them say, this is what we're working on, this is when we're hoping to get it out, sort of thing. Then, I mean, I know that Polifany generally don't do that well at sticking to their deadlines. I mean, we were supposed to have a community update thing, you know, added in January. Supposedly, it's now March, and we still haven't seen a damn thing about that. So, you know, not that that would really help us, but, I mean, at least it would be something, you know, at least we know that they're on the way with something like that. So that's one thing. Otherwise, if they do continue to do smaller updates, I'd prefer it if they at least include proper patch notes so that we can actually see what's being fixed, we can see what they're addressing. But yeah, I mean, I think in a way that would be better, because it means it's kind of a more obvious statement that they're actively working on things, and it seems like that they have the infrastructure to actually, you know, perform those kind of smaller updates without too much hassle. So yeah, I'm not sure what the deal with that is, but yeah, I mean, I guess that would probably be my preferred way to see updates, you know, lots of smaller updates and fixes, that sort of thing. In terms of features that I'd like to see, I mean, I guess at the moment, feature-wise, I'd quite like to see the course creator. Obviously, they've they kind of showed and talked and, you know, went on about the cool new course creator that they're going to have, and the way that it's more customizable and, you know, much bigger. Like, this area that you can use is, you know, like 5 times bigger than the Nürburgring and all that kind of stuff. So to actually be able to use that finally would be really good, and I think it was I think it would be a great feature to have in GT6, because it's something that's completely missing, and it was in GT5. So I think that would be a big thing to get back in the game. In terms of cars and tracks, I mean, to be honest, there is still loads of cars that I haven't even tried yet that are new in the game. There's so many cars, like, it's ridiculous. I think people still, for whatever reason, complain about the cars in GT6, but I have absolutely no problem. There is more than enough good quality cars to be used. So in terms of, you know, cars, I don't really feel like there needs to be some kind of new input there. And equally, tracks, like, I still am a long way off getting, you know, close to being quick at, you know, the newer tracks, Ascari and Willow Springs. You guys saw my lap on the seasonals the other week about that. So, you know, there's still stuff, cars and tracks content-wise, that I've, you know, left undiscovered to me. So I don't really personally feel like that is an area that we need to see updates on, and I'd rather them focus on bug fixing and some of those larger features, you know, like the GPS even that they talked about. I mean, how good would that be? You drive your car down the street and back again, and then you make a little track out of that, you know, something like that. I don't know. So I think stuff like that, and then going on to bugs, is pretty much online. Like, I know a lot of people want to see endurance racing on the single player front, and of course more single player events would be cool. We've already seen the Red Bull Challenge stuff, which is really good, and it's nice to see that they have sort of been actively supporting the single player. And I'm sure if they added endurance racing in, that would be, you know, they'd get a lot of thumbs up from people. That would kind of renew quite a few people's faith in them, because it's kind of like a hardcore feature. I'd say probably 80% of people never even did the endurance racing in the previous Gran Turismo games, but for the 20% that did, you know, it's a big thing, and they really want those to be in there. Personally, you know, online endurance racing is way more interesting than racing against the bots for, you know, several hours. But which kind of leads me on to my main bug thing that I guess I'd like to see, which is just the online lobby bugs, and or this community update, whatever it is. Like, we're not even sure what this community update includes. Maybe some kind of new lobby scheme, like anything, like whatever it is, it needs to just address the fact that at the moment the lobbies are just crap. Like, it's just such a bad platform for really properly organising races, and the fact that it's just so irritatingly buggy, like people just getting disconnected continuously, still just, you know, even people with good internet and whatever, like, it doesn't even make a difference, like, what internet you're like, you should be able to see the other drivers on track. It's not like you get into a game of Call of Duty and half of the other team are invisible to you, but they can still kill you. Like, you know what, that's just stupid. Like, that's just absolutely insanity. Like, in terms of multiplayer, it has to just be as solid as the fact that people can see each other. Like, it's completely insane. Like, if you told that to someone who has never played Gran Turismo but plays other online games, you said, you know, you go online, sometimes it's a real problem because you can't see each other. Like, it's just so mind-blowingly stupid that they just have to fix it. It's a serious bug. The other race, the other day, if you guys were watching the endurance race, we did a 2.4-hour enduro. At the same time, I know some other guys in leagues were racing, and the lobbies just got cut. Like, half the people from our race instantly disconnected. We heard that it happened to a bunch of other guys. Like, it's just crazy. There's just no network stability whatsoever, and it's a serious problem. This is the kind of thing that I think really, really needs addressing. And obviously, as we've mentioned, the tyre bugs. If as soon as you pit once, your tyres are fucked. You know what I mean? Like, you can't. They're just rubbish. You're losing seconds over a lap on supposedly the same set of tyres, you know, fresh tyres. It's just absurd. So I think personally the bugs in online just have to be fixed. There's no other way around it, and it needs to be soon, because it's really posing a problem, and I think it's kind of threatening the online reputation. I think they'll start to lose players soon, and those players may not, or may return, depending, you know, how long it takes for them to get these things fixed. Obviously, if they can do this community update, whatever it is that was supposed to be in January, with you know, with the new lobby setup or like event hosting or whatever it is that it's supposed to do. Private lounges. Why can't we have private lounges? They have to be friends only. Like that's stupid. We had them in GT5 pretty much, like where you could just join someone's private lounge, but everything is lobby hosted now. So you know, even if it was just that, like it's just very simple things like that. And if they could add that, I guess in terms of a feature, that's what I would like them. That's what I would like them to do. Anyway, hopefully this wasn't too ranty. I didn't want this to be just a big rant. This was kind of just a point at which, like, I felt like, and you know, people had asked me questions, and then eventually, as I said, I think it's Cider, that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, he basically said, you know, it'd be good if you kind of gave us your opinions on this thing, and it's pretty much just been all I've heard about it on GT Planet and YouTube at the moment. So I felt like it was time to address it. I'm sure you guys have got a lot to say about this in the comments, so feel free to leave it. You know, no need to make it hateful or spiteful towards Gran Turismo. Let's have, you know, constructive comments if possible. Anyway, as I said, let me know what you think on this topic, guys. Hope you enjoyed, you know, my insight on this. And again, apologies that the videos have been a bit sporadic. It's just, yeah, it's been a bit crazy lately. Anyway, I'll see you guys soon. Hope you enjoyed the video, and peace out.